Long ago in Burbank, California, Cartoon Network, the shape-shifting master of cartoon entertainment, unleashed an incredible cartoon. But foolish network executives wielding paperwork stepped forth to cancel it.
Did it get canceled? I thought Tartakovsky just, took a break.
You ruined the intro! Gosh darn it! I hate you, Elord! Whatever. Welcome to Manga Mavericks at Movies, the show where we talk about movies, except when we don't, because that happens sometimes. Because sometimes we go to the movies to watch 3 episodes of a TV show cut together. Because we're suckers like that. I don't know.
Did they market this as a movie back in the day, though?
They did actually market this as a movie back in the day, but it's not movie length.
Yeah, but I remember...
It's 3 episodes. It's only a little more than an hour.
Yeah, but I remember, back when they did, a DVD or, release for this, they promoted it as Samurai Jack, the movie.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
So that was an impetus to market it as it again to promote the Samurai Jack Complete Series Blu-ray set.
Yeah.
This event was clearly just a marketing ploy for that.
Pretty much.
But I jumped at the opportunity to see Samurai Jack on the big screen. I love Samurai Jack. You love Samurai Jack. It's a classic. And we loved the 5th season, except for 1 episode.
They should have just gotten rid of that episode. It's basically filler.
It was
filler.
Improved in retrospect by the direction the rest of the season took.
Yes, but it wasn't necessary. They should have taken out that episode and just focused on a 2-parter finale.
We talked about it enough.
I know, but I'm still salty.
Sure. But as much as I had enjoyed season 5, I still hadn't revisited the show as a whole in a long time. I don't know how long it's been since I've seen the first 3 episodes. So I thought this would be a great opportunity. I love seeing shows on the big screen, and Samurai Jack, that has a cinematic quality to it. That's why those first 3 episodes felt like a movie event. So, yeah, it was a great idea to put these episodes on the big screen, and it was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, there didn't seem like a lot of other people had the same enthusiasm, at least not at Eden Prairie.
Yeah, I mean, there's 4 other people.
There were 4 other people. They came in after us, so at first I was wondering, are we the only 2 people here? When you were ordering the tickets, there was literally no one who had bought tickets.
So I think, these guys probably just bought it the day of.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, the Blu-ray was coming out,
the day after.
Yeah, the day after, so it's you really need to go to a theater to see it, and it's only, the first 3 episodes.
Right. I think most people would say, these are just the first 3 episodes of a TV series. I could watch these anytime.
Yeah, I think maybe if it was actually Samurai Jack Season 5 cut together as a movie, then people would go to theaters to see that, because that feels like a movie to begin with.
That's more recent. It's in widescreen, 16:9.
Tartakovsky originally wrote it off of a movie script.
Yeah.
So it already feels like a movie structure, even has very kind of abrupt endings. Because it feels like a movie, because it would be easy to string together and make it just a good, 4-hour movie. But, of course, you can't really put a 4-hour movie in theaters.
Yeah.
That doesn't really work.
That would have probably been a more successful idea, but I don't know if it would have been a great one for the audience.
I think the big problem there would be not enough theaters would be willing to take that time for a one-night screening.
Yeah. But regardless of how many people were in the theater, I still enjoyed seeing these episodes because it's been so long and I forgot just how incredible the storytelling is. There's so little dialogue in that first episode in particular, and the montage of Jack training in all these different countries and moving from place to place and growing up, it's just an incredible sequence of animation.
Yeah.
Just beautiful. The emotional beats are so great. When Jack finally reunites with his mother, when Jack is leaving his mother, and she's just fading away as the boat leaves into the smoke, and then later when he reunites with his mother on the monk temple, both of those are really powerful scenes, and we barely know this character, and characters, really, and they haven't exchanged a single word to each other, but we just get it right there, right then, because the storytelling, the execution, presentation is just so good.
Samurai Jack's strongest point is the visual storytelling.
Right.
Just like, it can convey so much just through like the subtlest of just movements or shots.
Mm-hmm.
It's like really amazing that it does that. And even outside of that, like, just how it transitions between scenes is just amazing. Like, when you see, like, Jack going through, like, this montage of all the different trainings he's doing, it just pans perfectly to the next, like, area, the next, like, trainer that he has, next teacher he has. And then, like, it's just this, like, all transitioning to him slowly growing up and becoming, like, the samurai. It's just all wonderfully done.
The minimalist, very classic Japanese art inspired, also a little bit of Art Deco in there, especially in Jack's apocalyptic future, is just beautifully used. Like, it's so simply rendered. But because it's so simple, they can do an incredible job with it in terms of how they can animate. Like, there's so much great animation in this. It's amazing how much they could do with such simple designs on a TV budget. It's something that more shows need to learn from, and how to use simple character designs as an asset to do more with your animation. It's something that OKKO, I think, has learned really well. And OKKO's designs are a little more detailed than Samurai Jack's even. But at the same time, the principle is there of how to get away with a lot using so little.
Yeah, I mean, OKKO just also does the general thing of, like, kind of a freestyle animation form where it's just kind of, like, you can kind of tell when each animator, different animator is working on it. Like, which, I say Samurai Jack also does that quite well. Samurai Jack doesn't contort as much as OKKO, but you can also kind of see that more free flow motion in it.
Yeah, I am in awe with the execution of that first episode in particular. Just the way it starts with the red sky, Aku being freed, the flashing lights when that happens, just everything with the use of shadows. And Aku is, again, such a simple design, but so menacing, and Mako's performance so chilling that he really sells it. Just the colors in that show, my God, are amazing. That entire first episode, I forgot how good it was. I had suggested the episode where Jack fights the ninja as one of the most visually interesting episodes before in a list of episodes I thought were really visually interesting. But I think episode 1 is actually a better example of what Jack can do with its visual storytelling, especially since it has that such long sequence that's completely wordless and just communicates through the visuals. And the transitions, my God, the transitions between Jack traveling to country is just so seamless. They just know how to keep the momentum going. It doesn't feel like there's a cut, even though there are cuts. It doesn't feel that it's like it's a cut, because you have that scene where, like, Jack and his mentor is running across the desert and they land in a new place and all those kind of things. Like, it feels like this journey is continuous. And it's just so great at keeping you involved in everything that's happening.
It really knows how to, like, immerse you in the actual show itself. I remember rewatching these first 3 episodes before season 5 came out, and I was surprised how fast it went, because, like, you just get so sucked into just visual kind of just, like, transitions, all these, like, visual, like, stunning, like, aspects of the show. Like, it's just all done so well.
Yeah, and the design of the future of the world of Aku is also just great. It takes a lot of inspiration from sci-fi, except replacing blues with reds to represent Aku's evil. But it's such an impressive, like, cacophony of sounds and metal and robots and aliens. Especially in that dance scene, we are reacting with as much confusing and shock as Jack is to what he's seeing. Because
you mean the strip club?
It is a strip club, and that's another thing. I'm so impressed that they could get away with that in a 2001 kids show.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they could just say, oh, it's a dance club. No one's taking off their clothes.
Literally go-go dancers dancing in cages.
Yeah, it's
pretty uncomfortable when you think about it.
How did I not remember this as a kid?
It completely sips you by.
Maybe that's why they thought it was okay. They thought, oh, kids won't notice it. They won't understand.
It's also hilarious to go back and notice that they give a bunch of these characters robotic attachments so Jack can cut them off instead of actually killing them. Because he fights those aliens with the robot arms who are like picking a fight with him, and he just cuts off their arms to defeat them. He doesn't actually like hurt their actual fleshy bodies.
Which just makes you wonder, how are they in pain?
Yeah, how do they get knocked out in pain?
Like, is it not just that their arms are like powered by like the oil and stuff? Is it like their entire body's now powered by the oil?
Are they going into shock because their arms are being cut off?
That might be painful.
Why.
Maybe like they have pain sensors in the actual arms, so when it gets cut off, like they still feel pain.
I think that's a good theory.
But of course we know it's just an excuse for Jack to be able to cut off arms.
Yeah, but when Jack fights the robots in episode 3, the Beetleborgs,
he's just covered in the oil.
That's brutal. They make sure to emphasize the illusion between the oil of the Beetleborgs and blood, because there are long sequences where Jack is just getting covered in it, where he's slicing through it, and then he goes through the sliced Beetleborg, and he just gets shot on both sides with the oil. Like, it's really brutal and grotesque, and they just do a great job, even though they had such limitations on content, to communicate such a violent, such a dangerous world. It's really impressive. Yeah. I mean, we see dogs crucified in the background.
Yeah, that was kind of messed up.
That is messed up. They had limitations of what they could explicitly say or show, but they made sure to really hammer home that Aku's world is truly evil.
Yeah, I mean, I know we mentioned that the first episode was like a very silent episode, but Volume 3, Episode 3 was also really silent as well, because a lot of that's just the fight. And just that entire fight's like mostly silence. It's just Jack slashing his sword against like the robots, and just it keeps going. It keeps like escalating. But there's no dialogue, there's no like inner monologues or anything. It's just Jack fighting alone against these robots and just like taking them down. And it's like insane.
Even before the fight, we have the sequence where Jack is planning.
Yeah, the planning's also all silent. There's no dialogue during that.
Yeah.
They just have some nice little music in the background, just the dogs and Jack working together.
And it's a brilliant sequence, both the planning scene and the fight scene, because the way Jack uses his environment to his advantage is just so clever and awesome.
Yeah, it's just like so well done.
Yeah, in terms of it being a cohesive movie narrative, it's definitely a very straightforward in how each episode is clearly meant to be a standalone episode, or at least able to be enjoyed that way.
Yeah.
Really, episodes 2 and 3 are more connected than 1 is to 2, really.
Yeah, I mean, sorta. I mean, I think when this initially aired, it was all 3 episodes at once.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but I think they knew that, okay, for reruns and stuff, they're gonna want this to actually feel natural as like 3 separate episodes. So let's make some clear breaks in here. So yeah, you can definitely tell that.
It's understandable, but again, that also takes you out of the idea that this is enjoyed best as a movie.
Which is why I still really wish it was season 5 as the movie.
I mean, this is definitely a pilot movie, but it's not like a movie.
Yeah, it's not like...
Like, episode 3 ends with Aku saying, you won this time, Samurai Jack, but I am going to get you in the future, setting up a series.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is very much a pilot movie in feel, but every part of it is just so great. The biggest complaint I have is some of the voice acting, and particularly in the beginning of episode 2 with those punker guys that give Jack his name. Their conversation goes on too long, for one thing. They're just saying gibberish, and that's the point, but it feels like an eternity of them saying nonsense in the most annoying voices, and I'm like, okay, just get to the part where they call him Jack, or Jack gets the fact that they're calling him Jack already.
Yeah.
And also there is, like, some other characters that have, like, very cartoonish voices. I definitely think that the show is best when the characters aren't talking.
Yeah, I'd say that's definitely true.
I mean, of course, Mako is great.
Yeah, Mako's amazing.
And Phil Lamar is great as Jack for as few lines as he gets.
Yeah, Phil Lamar is just a talented guy in general.
Yeah. But the guy who plays the dad is just okay, and then other characters are just okay. I mean, I like the British dog, but, oh yeah, the jokes with the dogs are great, too. So the show has a great sense of humor, and that's best exemplified in the scenes with the dogs, where Jack is, like, having a dinner with the dogs, and they're drinking out of the cups, and he's just like really confused and it feels awkward. And then one of the dogs is saying, "Oh, excuse me," and then Jack kind of gives a slight smile, and then then the dog says, "Oh, I forgot to introduce ourselves," and then Jack's smile kind of goes down.
Yeah,
It's like
I remember like. They use like that same like sound effect from Dexter's Lab when they do the smiles and like the weeps. It's just like, oh yeah, it was funny.
comedic timing is great in this show
Yeah.
too. Basically, Samurai Jack was great at the beginning, it's great at the end, and you should watch it all, and maybe, if not get the Blu-ray DVD set, like rent the DVDs, because...
Is DVD rental still a thing?
I'm sure it's also on the Boomerang app, or at least on the Adult Swim website.
I keep forgetting the Boomerang app is a thing.
But Samurai Jack was a classic, and I'm glad I got to see the first 3 episodes in theaters because it was a good experience. And I enjoyed the interview with Gendy Tartakovsky at the end. It wasn't that insightful outside of the fact that he was like, yeah, the show never really found an audience when it was originally airing. We got 4 seasons, but like, it never really felt like the show was that successful because, you know, it was slow and it wasn't really that kid-friendly. So we never knew when to really air it, and
it's kind of sad because that's how I felt as a kid. Like I thought it looked cool and all, but it's like not something I would go out of my way to watch. Really,
yeah.
It wasn't until like I was older that I really respect the show. It kind of has like the whole Megas XLR problem where its target demo feels like it was skewed too low for what its actual like content was.
I definitely think adults would enjoy it more.
Yeah, adults are like teenagers.
But never really got the chance to be promoted towards them.
I mean, it still made a profit though, so...
Yeah, it was still pretty successful, but yeah, it never really truly found an audience until years later. When people who grew up with it, you know, became adults.
Yeah, it gained this cult fan base.
The other really interesting thing he noted was just the idea to make Samurai Jack was inspired by the fact that, you know, he was working on comedic cartoons that had action elements like Dexter and Powerpuff Girls, and then decided to want to exclusively focus on the action. And then he pitched it to Mike Lazo, just a very simple concept, and that was enough to get Lazo to give him the go-ahead. So that was really cool.
I think that's like 90% of pitches at like Adult Swim now.
Yeah.
It's just someone like comes up with some weird idea, goes to Lazo, and he's just like, yeah, here's money.
I forget the exact wording of how he pitched it because it's been like a week since we've seen the screening at
I think it was like he's a samurai, he fights robots, and he goes to the future, he's trying to get back to the past.
Yeah, that very short, to the point, was enough of a hook to get Lazo on board, get the show greenlit for the pilot and beyond.
I'm sure Lazo enjoyed that, because like, when Tartakovsky came back for season 5 and asked if he could do it, Lazo's just like, yeah, go ahead, here's the money. Yeah. We'll have you sign the contract like next week.
And it was also interesting to learn that while working on the show, they definitely had this idea of A stories, B stories, and C stories. Mm-hmm. So there were definitely stories that they put more effort into than others, and I found that interesting that he was very candid about that. That, yeah, there were some episodes we didn't care about as much as others, and we didn't really put in the effort to make those episodes better. We just focused on making the ones that had the potential to be greater. So I was interested in hearing that. Because definitely,
Samurai Jack has hit or miss episodes.
Yeah, definitely.
You can tell.
I think the first season is pretty much perfect, but definitely with some of the other seasons, they can get more hit and miss.
I think it was like, not the last season. Last season was pretty good, I feel. But I think it was like probably like somewhere like season 3 or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're definitely weaker episodes of Jack. And then as far as his favorite episodes, when Gendy mentioned that all the episodes that you like, he likes. So, the Archer's episode, Tale of X9, all the classic ones. It's interesting to me that he considered Aku's Fairy Tales one of the experimental episodes. But yeah, it was definitely...
Experimental episode?
Well, it definitely was a weird oddity in the terms of tone.
I remember the first time I watched it, it's like, oh, Aku's trying to oppress these children. It's just like, oh, okay.
That was a fun episode. That's one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, but then you think to yourself, like, isn't this guy supposed to be a mass murderer?
Yeah, that's one of the episodes that really cements the comedic side of Aku that gets explored even greater in later episodes.
I think that was one of the, like, not the first episode I watched, but like one of the very early episodes I watched of Jack.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely remember watching the premiere movie first.
Yeah, I watched the premiere movie first, but I don't think I finished it initially. I think I watched like the first like 2 episodes of it, and then I just didn't watch the 3rd episode.
That's strange, because I definitely remember all of it.
I might have fallen asleep. I used to fall asleep a lot during Samurai Jack.
I mean, you would have been like, what, 4? When this came out, so...
Boy needed his naps.
Yeah, and Gendy ended the interview by saying Samurai Jack found an end to his journey. It was a bittersweet ending, but it's an ending. And that's it for him. And yeah, that's cool. Samurai Jack is over, and it was a strong, pretty much all the way through. It took 16 years for him to get to that ending, but he got to it. And that is pretty sweet. That's pretty cool.
If only Symbionic Titan could get that ending now.
Yeah.
We kind of know a lot of the plot stuff. It just has to actually be made.